What's next for Xenoblade Chronicles? Hey guys, JB Sphere Freak here, and we're back for another Ultimate video. And today I'm going to be looking into and speculating what might be next for the series of Xenoblade Chronicles. But just before we jump into it, I just need to let you guys know there'll be an announcement at the end of this video about the giveaway that I'm currently doing. So stay tuned through the whole video to catch up with that. And now, let's begin. So, the last couple of videos I made probably aren't actually going to happen, due to what was announced in the October Direct, and just with how the world is in general at the moment. So let's talk about something that we will definitely be getting in the future, which are the next games to come in the Xenoblade series. Now, if you look realistically anywhere on the internet, there are two options of what we'll realistically be getting next. Many fans are wanting the next series of the Xenoblade Chronicles X saga, which as of at this moment has no direct tie-in to the main series, and some others just want to continue on the story which they've just been introduced to with Definitive Edition, and more than likely were introduced to the series via Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Let's start with Xenoblade Chronicles X though, as it is the standalone in the series. There have been many rumours and many people hoping that Xenoblade Chronicles X will become a remaster on the Nintendo Switch, similar to the original Xenoblade Chronicles. I do see this being possible, however there are a lot of issues with the format of how Xenoblade Chronicles X was designed, mainly being the fact that it was made for the Wii U, and a lot of the facilities that you had access to you won't have in television mode, which I don't know about everyone else, but that's how I mainly play my Switch. Back with Xenoblade Chronicles X, the screen was used to navigate the world, place data probes so that we can gain money and resources to use within the game, and was your main form of navigation, which is something that'll be lost if that's ported over to the Nintendo Switch. However, what would be much easier for the developers, and would add on to the story of Xenoblade Chronicles X, which I don't know about you, ended quite abruptly, in my opinion, by just adding a sequel to the Switch instead. They can throw away all of the added features and differences that they made for the X compared to the other games, and just prioritise on the actual gameplay in the world, other than those little subtle differences. We also need a conclusion to the ending scene of Xenoblade Chronicles X, of where Lau is lying on the beach and opens his eye, and a mysterious figure walks up to him. So there's a lot that's left that still needs to be answered. And I think it'd be pretty interesting to see where the story is developed from then. And hey, they might even port over Xenoblade Chronicles X, the original one, onto the Switch, allow you to make your characters again, and then be able to port the same character from that game to Xenoblade Chronicles X 2. But that's just me probably hoping for a little bit more than what we're actually going to get. But what about a Xenoblade Chronicles 3? Now, the last two games in the series have been Xenoblade Chronicles main story related, being Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition, which is obviously the remake of the original game, and then the game prior to that, the sequel to said game, Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Now, as far as I can tell, all the series are going to tie into each other eventually. However, the main set of Xenoblade Chronicles games are all directly connected at the moment, with the fact that, and spoilers here, that Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is the world that was destroyed and created the events of where Xenoblade Chronicles 1 occurred. But what could we expect to see in a new Xenoblade Chronicles 3 game? Well, going back to one of my previous videos on whether or not there'll be DLC for Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition, I mentioned that in the art book, the director of the game left a little message. This scenario isn't simply a new story to be told, but a waystone of sorts, pointing towards the future. The events that take place and the words spoken by the characters in Future Connected are linked to the future of Xenoblade Chronicles itself. Now, that's pretty obvious to say that Future Connected is going to have a big part in whatever game comes next in the series. More than likely, primarily the concept of the Fog King. I did make a full video though. It was the first video I made on the channel about the Fog King though, so if you've still got questions and want to have some theories, check out that video. It'll be linked on the cards just above. Now, I think there's two ways that the devs can go with Xenoblade Chronicles 3. These could be the events a year after Rex and Co have landed on the new landmass, and it's an enemy that they have to face there, and it somehow gets sent all over the place to end up as being the Fog King in that world. Or it'll be a complete new cast of characters again, which go out on a journey and makes this Fog King a necessary enemy in that game. Now, I quite like the idea that the Fog King is one of the main enemies within Xenoblade Chronicles 3 with the new cast of characters, and that through some very powerful ability, part of them is sent through rifts and dimensions, and the part which would be his soul or the evilness or something along the lines of that is what becomes the Fog King in Future Connected, and the remnants of him stay there. I also think something to do with the distant future of either of the Xenoblade Chronicles worlds would be really cool to see. Kind of like how if both parties have created civilizations and there are ruins for things like either the Monado or the Aegis, which are able to explore and go through all these different powers as things will have evolved and developed from them. And it'd be very good to learn more about Alvis, as at the moment he's the main linking factor, other than the world of course, between the original Xenoblade and Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Or perhaps go a different route and have the world be very modernised in terms of skyscrapers and things like the land of Moritha, which would be a bit of a different setting for Xenoblade, but nonetheless, seeing what they've done previously, they could definitely make it very interesting. Anyways, it's time for that announcement. Due to things going on in my personal life and just with how up the world is at the moment, I am going to be delaying the giveaway for a further 2 weeks from when the original video was posted. The winner will therefore be announced on the video following the 27th of November this year, of course. I apologise for the inconvenience, but a lot of things have came up, so it's just the way that I've had to do it, unfortunately. But anyways, I hope you've all enjoyed this video. Make sure to subscribe if you want to see more of my content in the future. And until next time, I appreciate all of you.